Meditations, Book 7. Lesson 1. What is vice? It is what you have often seen. In every instance of it, keep in mind that you have often seen the like before. Search up and down, you will find sameness everywhere. Among the events which fill the history of ancient, middle, and present ages, among the things of which our cities and our households are full today, nothing is new, all is familiar and fleeting. Lesson number 2. How can the great principles of life become dead if the impressions which correspond to them be not extinguished? These impressions you may still rekindle. I can always come from proper opinion of this or that, and if so, why am I disturbed? What is external to my mind is of no consequence to it. Learn this and you stand upright, you can always renew your life. See things again as once you saw them, and your life is made new again. Lesson number 3. Your vain concerns for shows, for stage plays, for flocks and herds, your little combats are as bones cast for the contention of puppies, as baits dropped into a fish pond, as the toil of ants and the burdens that they bear, as the scampering of frightened mice, or the antics of puppets jerked by wires. It is then your duty amid all this to stand firm, kindly and not proud, yet to understand that a man's worth is just a worth of that which he pursues. Lesson number 4. In conversation we should give good heed to what is said, and in every enterprise we should attend to what is done. In the latter case, at once look to the end in view, and in the former, note the meaning intended. Lesson number 5. Is my understanding sufficient for this business or not? If it be sufficient, I use it for the work in hand as an instrument given to me by nature. If it be not sufficient, I either give place to one better fitted for the achievement, or if for some reason this be not a proper course, I do it as best as I can, taking the aid of those who by directing my mind can accomplish something fit and serviceable for the common good. For all that I do, whether by myself or with the help of others, should be directed solely towards what is fit and useful for the public service. Lesson number 6. How many of those who were once so mightily acclaimed and delivered up to oblivion, and how many of those who acclaim them are dead and gone this many a day? Lesson number 7. Be not ashamed of taking assistance. It is laid upon you to do your part, as on a soldier when the wall is stormed. What then if you are lame and cannot scale the battlements alone, but can with another help? Lesson number 8. Be not troubled about the future. You will come to it, if need be, with the same power to reason as you use upon your present business. Lesson number 9. All things are twined together in one sacred bond. Scarce is there one thing quite foreign to another. They are all ranged together and leagued to form the same ordered whole. The universe compact of all things is one, through all things runs one divinity, being is one, and law which is reason common to all intelligent creatures. And truth is one as well, that if there be but one sort of perfection possible to all beings, which are of the same nature and partake of the same rational power. Lesson number 10. Everything material is soon engulfed in the matter of the whole, and every active cause is swiftly resumed into the universal reason. The memory of all things is quickly buried in eternity. Lesson number 11. And the reasoning being to act according to nature is to acting according to reason. Lesson number 12. Be upright either by nature or by correction. Lesson number 13. In an organic unity, bodily members play the same part as reasoning, beings among separate existences. Since both are fitted for one joint operation, this thought will come home to you the more vividly if you say often to yourself, I am a member of a mighty organism which is made up of reasoning beings. If instead of a member you say that you are merely a part, you have not as many attained to a heartfelt love of mankind. As yet you love not well-doing for its own sake alone, and you still perform your bare duty, with no thought that you are your own benefactor by the deed. Lesson number 14. From the world without, let that will affect whatever parts are subject to such affection. Let the part which suffers complain, if it will of the suffering, but if I admit not that the hap is evil, remain uninjured. Not to admit it is surely in my power. Lesson number 15. Let any one say or do what he pleases. I must be a good man. It is just as gold or emeralds and purple might say continually, let men do or say what they please. I must be an emerald and retain my luster. Lesson number 16. The soul which rules you vexes not itself. It does not, for example, awake its own fears or arouse its own desires. If another can raise grief or terror in it, let him do so. By its own impressions, it will not be led into such emotions. Let the body take thought, if it can, for itself, lest it suffer anything and complain when it suffers. The soul, by means of which we experience fear and sorrow, and by means of which indeed we receive any impression of these, will admit no suffering. You cannot force it to any such opinion. The ruling part is, in itself, free from all dependence, unless it makes itself dependent. Similarly, it may be free from all disturbance and obstruction, if it does not disturb and obstruct itself. Lesson number 17. To have good fortune is to have a good spirit or a good mind. What do you hear, imagination? Begone, I say, even as you come. I have no need for you. You came, you say, after your ancient fashion. I am not angry with you, only begone. Lesson number 18. Do you dread change? What can come without it? What can be pleasanter or more proper to universal nature? Can you heat your bath unless wood undergoes a change? Can you be fed unless a change is wrought upon your food? Can any useful thing be done without changes? Do you not see then that this change also which is working in you is even such as these and alike necessary to the nature of the universe? Lesson number 19. Through the substance of the universe, as through a torrent, all bodies are born. They are all of the same nature and fellow workers with the whole, even as our several members are fellow workers with one another. How many a Crippius, how many a Socrates, how many a Epictetus hath the course of ages swallowed up? Let this thought be with you about every man upon all occasions. Lesson number 20. For this alone I am concerned, that I am do nothing that suits not the nature of man, nothing as man's nature would not have it, nothing that it wishes not yet. Lesson number 21. The time is at hand when you shall forget all things, and when all things shall forget you. Lesson number 22. It is man's special business to love even those who err, and to this love you attain. If it is borne in upon you that even these sinners are your kin, and that they offend through ignorance and against their will, remember also that in little, while both you and they must die, remember before all things that they have not harmed you, for they have not made your soul worse than it was before. Lesson number 23. Presiding nature from the universal substance as from wax now forms a horse, now breaks it up again, making of its matter a tree, afterward a man, and again something different. Each of these shapes subsists but for a little. Yet there is nothing dreadful for the chess in being taken to pieces any more than there formerly was in being put together. Lesson number 24. A wrathful look is completely against nature. When a countenance is often thus deformed, its beauty dies and the end is quenched, forever, and cannot be revived again. Seek to comprehend from this very fact that it is against reason. And if there is sense of moral evil, be gone as well. Why should a man wish to remain alive? Lesson number 25. In a little space, nature, the supreme and universal ruler, will change all things that you behold. Out of her substance she will make other things, and others again out of substance of these, so that the universe may never be new. Lesson number 26. Whenever someone offends you, consider straightway how he has erred in his conceptions of good or evil. When you see him where his errors lies, you will pity him, and be neither surprised nor angry. Indeed, you yourself perhaps will strongly count good for the same things as he does, or things just like them. Your duty then is to forgive, and if you cease from these false ideas of good and bad, you'll find it the easier to grant indulgence to him who is still mistaken. Lesson number 27. Dwell not on what you lack so much as on what you already have. Select the best of what you have and consider how passionately you would have longed for it had it not been yours. Yet be watchful, lest by this joy in what you have you accustom yourself to value it too highly, so that, if it should fail, you should be distressed. Lesson number 28. Retire within yourself, where reasoning's power that rules you naturally finds contentment with itself in just dealing, and in the calm which such dealing begins. Lesson number 29. Blot out imagination. Check the brutal impulses of the passions, confine your energies to the present time. Observe clearly all that happens either to yourself or to another. Divide and analyze all objects into cause and matter. Take thought for your last hour. Let another sin remain where the guilt lies. Lesson number 30. Apply your mind to what is said. Penetrate all happenings and the causes thereof. Lesson number 31. Rejoice yourself with simplicity, modesty, and indifference to all things that lie between good and bad. Love mankind and obey God. All things, says someone, go by law and order, but what if there be not beyond the atoms? Even if that so suffice it to remember that all things, save very few, are swayed by law. Lesson number 32. Concerning death. If the universe be a concourse of atoms, death is a scattering of these. If it be an ordered unity, death is an extinction or a translation to another state. Lesson number 33. Concerning pain, pain which cannot be borne brings us deliverance. Pain that lasts must needs be bearable. The mind can abstract itself from the body, and the soul takes no hurt. As to the parts which suffer by pain, let them, if they can, make their own protest. Lesson number 34. Concerning glory, consider the understanding of men what they shun and what they pursue, and reflect as heaps of sand are driven one upon another, and the later drifts bury and hide those that went before, so too in life of former ages is soon buried by the next. Lesson number 35. This from Plato. To the man who has the true grandeur of mind, and who can contemplate all time and all being, can human life appear at a great matter. Impossible, says the other. Can such a one count death a thing of dread? No, indeed. Lesson number 36. It is a saying of anesthesians that it is the part of a king to do good and reap reproach. Lesson number 37. It is a shameful thing that the countenance should obey the mind, should compose and order itself as the mind bids it, while the mind cannot compose and order itself as it wills. Lesson number 38. Vain is all anger at external things, for they regard it nothing. Lesson number 39. Give joy to us and to the immortal gods. Lesson number 40. For life is like the laden ear, cut down, and some must fall, and some unreaped remain. Lesson number 41. Me and my children, if the gods neglect, it is for some good reason. Lesson number 42. For I keep right and justice on my side. Lesson number 43. Weep not within them, and still these throbs of woe. Lesson number 44. From Plato. I would make him this just answer. You are mistaken, my friend, to think that a man of any worth should count the chances of living and dying. Should he not rather, in all he does, consider simply whether he is acting justly or unjustly, whether he is playing the part of a good man or a bad? Lesson number 45. He says again, in truth, Athenians, the matter stands thus. Wheresoever a man has chosen his stand, judging it the fittest for him, or whatsoever he is stationed by his commander, there I think he should stay at all hazards, making no account of death or any other evil but dishonor. Lesson number 46. Again consider, my friend, whether the truly noble and the truly good Be not something quite apart from saving and being saved. The man who is a man indeed should not be seen, set his heart on living through a few more years of life, nor should he make that the end of his desire. Rather, he should commit the matter to the will of God, assenting to the maxim which even women use, that no man can elude his destiny, and studying in addition how he may spend his life that remains to him for the best. Lesson number 47. Contemplate the courses of the stars as one should do that resolves along with them. Consider also without seizing the changes of elements one into another. Speculation upon such things cleanse away the filth of this earthly life. Lesson number 48. It is a good thought of Plato's that when we discourse of men, should look down as from a high place on all things earthly, on herds and armies, on husbandry and marriage, on partings, births, and deaths, on the tumults of the courts of justice, on the desert places of the earth, on the very spectacle of savage nations, on feasting and lamentations, on traffic, on the melody of all things, and the order which emerges from the contrary. Lesson number 49. Consider the past and the revolutions of so many empires, and thence you may foresee what shall happen hereafter. It will be ever the same in all things, nor can events leave a rhythm in which they are now moving. Wherefore it is much the same to view human life for 40 as for a myriad of years. What more is there to see? Lesson number 50. To earth returns whatever sprang from earth, and what's of heavenly seed remounts to heaven. This imports either the loosening of a knot of atoms, or a similar dispersion of immutable elements. Lesson number 51. My meats and drinks, and charms and magic arts, death's course they would divert and thus escape. The gale that blows from God we must endure, toiling but not repining. Lesson number 52. He is a better wrestler than you, but not more public-spirited, more modest, or better prepared for the accidents of fate, not more gentle toward the shortcoming of his neighbors. Lesson number 53. Wherever we can act conformably to the reason which is common to gods and men, there we have nothing to dread. Where we can profit by prosperous activity which proceeds in agreement with the constitution of our nature, we need suspect no harm. Lesson number 54. In all places and at all times you may devoutly accept your present fortune and deal in justice with your present company. You may take pains to understand all arising imaginations, that none may steal upon you before you comprehend them. Lesson number 55. Pry not into the souls of others, but rather look straight to the goal whither nature is leading you, whither the nature of the universe by external events, and whither your own nature by the tendency of your own action. Each being must perform the part for which it was created. Now all other beings are created for the sake of those among them which have reason. As all lower things exist for the sake of things superior to them, and reasoning beings were created for one another. The leading principle in man's nature then is the social spirit, and the second is victory over the solicitations of the body. For it is proper to the workings of reasons to set bounds to themselves, and never to be overpowered by the calls of sense or by stirrings of passion, both of which are animal in their nature. The intellect claims to reign over these, and never to be subjected to them, and rightly because it is equipped to command and use all the lower powers. The third element in the constitution of a reasoning being is caution against rashness and error. Let this soul go forth stray upon her way into possession of these principles, and she stands seized for her full estate. Lesson number 56. Consider yourself as dead, your life is finished and past. Live what yet remains according to nature's laws, as an overplus granted to you beyond your hope. Lesson number 57. Love that only which is your hap, which comes upon you as your part in fate's greatest spinning. What indeed can fit you better? Lesson number 58. Upon every accident keep in view those to whom the like has happened. They stormed at the event, wondered and complained. But now where are they? They are gone forever. Why should you act like the part? Leave these unnatural commotions to fickle men who change and are changed. Yourself take thought how you may make good use of such events. Good use for them there is. They will make matter for good actions. Let it be your sole effort and desire to gain your own approval in every action. Remember that the material objects of both that effort and that desire are things indifferent. Lesson number 59. Look inward. Within is the foundation of good. Dig constantly, and it will ever well forth. Lesson number 60. Keep the body steady without irregularity, whether it is motions or in its postures. For as the soul shew itself in the countenance by a wise and graceful air, it should require the same expressive power of the whole body. But all this must be practiced without affection. Lesson number 61. The art of life is more than that of a wrestler than of the dancer. For the wrestler must always be ready on his guard, and stand firm against the sudden, unforeseen efforts of his adversary. Lesson number 62. Consider constantly what manner of men they are whose approbation you desire, and what may be the character of their souls. Then you will neither accuse such as err unwillingly, nor need their commendation when you look into the springs of their opinions and their desires. Lesson number 63. Every soul, says Plato, parts unwillingly with truth. You may say the same of justice, temperance, good nature, and every virtue. It is most necessary to keep this ever in mind, for if you do, you will be more kindly towards all men. Lesson number 64. In all pain, keep in mind that there is no baseness in it, that it cannot harm the soul which guides you, nor destroy that soul as a reasoning or as a social force. In most pain you may find help in the saying of Epicurus, that pain is neither unbearable nor everlasting, if you bear in mind its narrow limits and allow no additions from your imagination. Remember also that we are fretted, though we see it not, by many things which are the same nature as pain. Things such as drowsiness, excessive heat, want of appetite. When any of these things annoy you, say to yourself that you are giving in to pain. Lesson number 65. Look to it that you feel not towards the most inhuman of mankind as they feel towards their fellows. Lesson number 66. Whence do we conclude what Teleuges had not a brighter genius than Socrates? 'Tis not enough that Socrates died more gloriously, or argued more acutely with his sophists, or he kept watch more patiently through a frosty night, or because when ordered to arrest the innocent Salminian, he judged it more noble to disobey, or because of any stately airs and graces he assumed in public, in which we may very justly refuse to believe. But assuming all this true, when we consider Socrates, we must ask what manner of soul he had. Could he find contentment in acting with justice towards men, and with piety towards the gods, neither vainly provoked by the vices of others, nor servilely flattening them in their ignorance? Counting nothing strange that the ruler of the universe appointed, not sinking under anything as intolerable, and never yielding up his soul in surrender to the passions of the flesh. Lesson number 67. Nature has not so blended the soul with the body that it cannot fix its own bounds and execute its own office by itself. It is very possible to be a god among men, and yet be recognized by none. Remember that always, and this as well, that the happiness of life lies in very few things. And though you despair of becoming great in logic or in science, you need not despair of becoming a free man, full of modesty and unselfishness, and of obedience unto God. Lesson number 68. It is in your power to live superior to all violence and in the greatest calm of mind, were all men to rail against you as they please. And though wild beasts were to tear asunder the wretched members of his fleshly mass which has grown with your growth, what is to hinder the soul amid all this from preserving itself in all tranquillity, in just judgments about surrounding things, and in ready use of whatever encasts in its way? Judgments may say to accident, your real nature is that, or this or that, though you appear otherwise in the eyes of men. Use may say to circumstance, I was looking for you. To me all that is present is ever matter for rational and social virtue, and some for that art which is proper both to man and God. All that befalls is fit and familiar for the purposes of God or man. Nothing is either new or untraceable, but everything is well known and fit to work upon. It is the perfection of morals to spend each day as if it were the last of life, without excitement, without sloth, and without hypocrisy. Lesson number 70. The gods who are immortal are not vexed that in long eternity they must ever bear with the wickedness and the multitude of sinners. Nay, they even lavish on them all manner of loving care. But you, who are presently to cease from being, can forsooth endure no more, though you are one of the sinners. Yourself. Lesson number 71. It is ridiculous that you flee not from the vice that is in yourself, as you have it in your power to do, but are still striving to flee from the vice in others which you can never do. Lesson number 72. Whatever the rational and social faculty finds fit neither for rational nor for social ends, it justly ranks as inferior to itself. Lesson number 73. We have done a kind action and never has benefited. Why do you, like the fools, require some third thing in addition, a reputation for benevolence or a return for it? Lesson number 74. No man wearies of what brings him gain, and your gain lies in acting according to nature. Be not weary, therefore, of gaining by the act which gives others gain. Lesson number 75. Nature set about making an ordered universe, and now either all that it follows a law of necessary consequence and connection, or we must admit that there is at least rationality in the things which are most excellent, and which appear to be most special objects for the impulses of the universal mind. Remember of this will give you calmness on many an occasion. End of the 7th book.